Tonight's game is dedicated to the Arizona Coyotes. We hate you, Utah, and get stuffed, Ryan Smith.
PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Lindsay, that's Gerald, that's Steven, that's Eric. And tonight, the Phoenix Suns tip off a 4-game road trip against the Utah Jazz. But before we dive into that game, we have more exciting news. The NBA Cup starts tonight too.
Yes. You really.
Yay!
I'm not feeling your fakeness, Lindsay. I'm not feeling it. I'm excited for this.
Are you?
Hell yeah. This was great last year. Like, it was a lot of fun. The games were more competitive. Players seemed to care a little bit more. And I'm sorry, but you're not going to tell me that this game would be more exciting if it wasn't an in-season tournament game, a Suns versus Jazz November matchup. Like, we're going to be paying attention to this, not only to see if the Suns bounce back, but because point differential matters in these games. So I'm excited for it.
Anything to boost in-season games, just like you boost bets, make them that much more intriguing. Give them a little incentives with it on top of all of that. I'm all for it.
Does it boost?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. If anything, there are more eyes on it because you start talking about all the courts and whatever too, and I know we'll get to that in a sec, but I like it specifically for the Suns tonight because there's incentive to blow a team out. Put your foot on their throat, make a statement, and we were waiting for that, and now it's even incentivized more, so I like that part of it.
Okay, Chad, let us know, what side are you on? Do you care about the NBA Cup, formerly known as the NBA in-season tournament, which you
those were the days,
huh?
huh?
You swapped the name already? What are we doing? I know they threw a sponsor on it, but like you couldn't just sponsor the NBA in-season tournament. We had to switch the whole whatever. Anyway, I digress. I think it's stupid. I mean, we're in year 2. You couldn't just picked a name and stuck with it in year 1. Anyway, chat, let me know what side you're on. Are you a fan of the in-season tournament still? Year 1 was fun. Okay, I'll give year 1 that. But I feel like it's lost its luster now. So why wouldn't year 2 be?
Why?
Sequels suck,
I don't know.
Gerald.
Exactly.
Why are we just assuming it hasn't even started yet? Like, what are we doing?
And I'm also like feeling some type of way about the Suns to an extent, right? Like the whole purpose right now is to just keep your head above water with the Kevin Durant injury. So if you have a pretty substantial lead halfway through the 4th quarter, I'm kind of low-key like, pull the guys.
No.
Let's err on the side of caution.
No, we're laying it on thick.
Stressed, Gerald. I don't need any more of this in my life.
How many games did we see where they were up big in the 4th quarter and then they started cruising, and then what happens? They either lose a lead or they lose a game because of it, especially in a game where point differential matters for this in-season tournament. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, the in-season tournament doesn't matter. BS. If the Suns win this in-season tournament, you guys are going to be the biggest fans of it. So don't even play like you won't care.
Do you want them to play an extra game?
Yes, it's one extra game and it's fun. It's in Vegas. You get to say that you won the in-season tournament. Like, these are more competitive games than we would normally be getting this time of year. So like, I'm all in on that. But I do think like if they do find themselves up, especially after losing a tough game like they did against Sacramento, like, lay it on thick, win by double digits, boost that point differential, and get your flow back a little bit, because obviously KD going down for 2 weeks is kind of a blow to morale.
I think they need to be close to, if not in the championship round for this. And I think it's something that Mike Budenholzer probably has on his big board, maybe not generally accessible to the public, but to the players. This is something we want to do. I think we saw Frank Vogel openly proclaim that they were chasing after that thing, and they obviously came up short against the Lakers last season. But I think this is something that they should be looking for as a small step in the direction that they're looking to head in.
Well, especially for a team that isn't like, hey, we've been winning for a long time together. Oh, we just don't really care as much. Like Boston, who won the championship last year. You're still a new team. You're still gelling together. And so getting that vibe up and winning, that could definitely help. But I don't know if Bud is sitting down like, man, how are we going to win the in-season tournament?
I just feel like the Lakers got clowned so hard last year. And if the Suns were to win it, we would get equally, if not
you'd be
more.
set up for disaster if you.
If we won the
Who
tournament,
cares what other people say? Who cares? Do you enjoy watching the Suns play basketball? Yes. Do you enjoy watching the Suns win? Yes. Why would you not care if they win the season tournament?
Sorry,
like, why are we being so lame about
I
this?
don't know.
I don't get it.
Because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
As a competitor, if you have something that is both teams desire that's at stake, and they raise the incentives for you, how can you approach it by anything less than being a competitor?
I'm not arguing with you guys.
I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm saying for the people that are saying this meaningless, it doesn't matter. I'm questioning your competitive integrity at that point. Seriously, what are we doing right now? If you about it, then be about it. Otherwise,
I mean, there's a good chance we'll find out tonight because let's be honest, the Jazz provide an opportunity at the very least for the Suns to have a blowout win.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out, maybe, fingers crossed, late in this game, how they really feel
hopefully
about
we find
the
out early in this
tournament.
game how they feel about the in-season tournament.
I mean, that's true. You're not wrong. Well, here's the group that the Suns are in. They're in the B group, along with the Utah Jazz, the San Antonio Spurs, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Los Angeles Lakers. So, honestly, I mean, I think this group's not bad, to be honest. You've got the Jazz and the Spurs, who the Spurs are a little bit better, kind of a little bit on the lower end there, if you will. And then just between you, OKC, and LA.
I mean, you got the team that a lot of us assumed coming into the season would be the best team in the West in the Thunder. You've got a Jazz team that they got tonight, and they should blow out because that's what you should do with a team like Utah. And then you got the two biggest rivals in Suns franchise history in the Lakers and Spurs. So, I'm all for these games adding a little bit extra sauce on top.
The only thing that I will say that I do love about the in-season tournament, for sure, are the courts.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they're fun. Not all of them. I think as a whole, they're fun. So this is the court that we're going to be playing on tonight. This is the Jazz court here. We'll show you on the screen. I'm not mad at this one at all. It's kind of, I don't know. I just think it's cool. The only courts that I absolutely loathe are the bright red ones. I think it's too much. I don't really love the bright blue ones, but I'll take the blue ones. I low-key like the Celtics one.
I have to disagree.
The green one is nice.
I have to disagree.
Steven, what do you think?
It's all right. I'm not enthused, but I also don't hate it. It's just whatever. I like the Jazz court a little bit more though. I think the purple they had last season was a little bit too much. Just because of their color code of purple, but you know, this one I rock with. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like with their jerseys though.
I would have liked to see a little bit more pop of color, especially since they do have those you know iconic purple with the blue mountain range jerseys of theirs. This feels like maybe an overcorrection after the courts were all generally too loud last year. But it's not bad.
They do have the mountain in the back in like a darker grayish color.
They do.
So they at least added that there.
Maybe simple and boring is the bit.
Maybe.
It's pretty Utah, so that makes sense.
Their jerseys have been following that pattern for a while.
Tony said, what does ours look like? Ours says PHX on it, and it's orange. I think the NBA tweeted out a video of it yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, but it's out. You can definitely just Google it or look on Twitter, and you'll see it. But ours is it's orange.
I like it.
We'll see what it looks like on TV.
I guess the other question is, if the Suns do win it, do they raise a banner for the in-season?
No,
I
think draw the line.
The Lakers did. They already set the precedent.
I know. I don't know, man. It's different when you raise the banner next to other banners, but you can't.
That's true.
Like, you can't.
True.
I'm sorry, man.
The Lakers
You are setting yourself up for
and
disaster.
they've got multiple chips.
I'm pretty sure that's not even their choice. Like, if the Lakers raise
the NBA
one,
wants to take it seriously.
you're going to raise one.
Facts.
So
You're going to have to.
Just raise like a little tiny one, like right over the bar when you walk into Footprint Center. Like,
I mean, listen, the money
Just
side
there.
of it, of course, for guys who are not named Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal probably come into play here. And the prizes did increase a little bit this year. So the championship team will each get about $515,000, which is an extra $15,000 from last year. Last year was like even numbers, right? The losing team of the championship game gets an extra $6,000 on top of the $200,000 from last year. The losing team of the semifinals will get about $103,000. And then if you lose the quarterfinals, you'll get about $51,500. So there's some monetary.
Hey, huge for Tyus Jones, right? And give up some money. Honestly, this is how you get it back.
For those type of guys, yes, 100%. And let's be real, there's a lot of minimum guys on this Sun squad. So you got a point there. All right, well, we'll see what this gray court looks like tonight when we watch the game. But let's go ahead and dive into it. Suns and Jazz. Will start with the injury report here. On the Sun side of things, not looking too great. Kevin Durant, as we all know, is out with that left calf strain, will be out for at least 2 weeks. Jusuf Nurkic is also out tonight, dealing with that left ankle soreness as well. You'll recall that he did not return in the second half of Sunday's game against the Kings. Colin Gillespie is also out. Unfortunately for him, right ankle fracture. That's a bummer. We did get word about that today. On the Jazz side of things, Keyonte George is questionable. I don't know if we officially got an update on him or not, but Taylor Hendricks and Walker Kessler are both out as well. So Walker Kessler there is kind of a big one. Nurk, but they just cancel each other out, right?
Yeah, we got a potential Mason Plumlee, Drew Eubanks showdown.
This is what dreams are made of. Mason Plumlee and Drew Eubanks, there will be books written about tonight. Like, I'm going to tell my grandkids about Drew Eubanks versus Mason Plumlee. We might get like 20 combined points between them. I mean, that would be electric. Also, Keyonte George is available tonight.
Is he available?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
They didn't announce the starting lineups yet, did they?
Well, we know for sure that Mason
Suns,
Plumlee is starting, and we also know
Dunn.
that Ryan Dunn is also starting in this one for sure on the Sun side of things. Coach Bud, bless Dwayne Rankin's heart, tried to get us a little bit more information about Nurk's injury, and Bud was not budging whatsoever. Just basically said, hopefully he'll be better tomorrow, and that was the extent of it. But he did say that Oso might play an expanded role tonight. Might get a little bit more Oso in this one. Are you guys looking forward to that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like he's in a tough spot. We asked him after the last game, and he was saying, "Look, I understand we have 2 very good bigs in front of me, so my job is just to learn from them from afar. And when I get a chance to show all of this, I go out there and do it and stay ready. And that's hard for a rookie to do coming in, but he's done it pretty well. He did it well the other night, so hopefully he's able to carry forward some of that momentum there.
I like this matchup for him. I think that's a good opportunity. I think there's a nice crop of opponents on the other side that won't be like overwhelming for him, but he can also still play his game. And I think there should be some opportunity for him behind Mason Plumlee tonight.
Well, it's part of the reason I'm also rooting for a blowout is because I want to see Oso play extended minutes. I want to give some more low pressure situations for Ryan Dunn and Oso to kind of learn and gel together because they've been thrown in the mix, but never in a not important spot. Like Oso's like, you're playing 5 minutes per game, but when you play, you're going to guard Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see him just ease into it a little bit more and be able to feel it out and get more of his game. But I'm always excited when Oso plays.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. What are your key focal points for tonight's game? Listen, we were talking about it before the pregame show started. The Jazz are not great in a multitude of areas this year. I'm not even trying to throw that much shade, but it's rough. It's rough out there for the Utah Jazz. What are some of the key focal points in tonight's game?
Do you want me just to rip off some of the numbers?
I mean, we can. It's rough, though.
They're 30th in points per game, 30th in field goals made, 30th in point differential, 30th in turnovers, 25th in assists per game.
And this is out of how many teams?
This is out of 30.
Okay, yeah.
So last,
30's,
last, bottom 5.
So 30th is bad.
Yeah.
So my biggest one is this is a very sloppy team. They are dead last in the league in turnovers, averaging 19 a game. They're dead last in the league in opponent points off of turnovers. They're giving up about 24 points to opponents off turnovers. So this is a good game for the Suns to decisively win that turnover battle. The Jazz also give up the most fast break points in the league. So their transition defense is not great. So if the Suns can push the tempo, turn Utah over, turn defense into offense, that's a recipe to a pretty easy win against this team.
I've gotten a lot of questions on Twitter when I post Ask Me Anythings essentially on game days. People asking, why do the Suns play up and down to the competition so consistently?
Great question.
Well, we're going to find out. There's another chronicle in that question tonight. And I think this will be one where they're doing it more decisively in terms of winning. But I think that there are some challenges that the Jazz pose. They run a motion offense that tests your defense and help and on-ball responsibilities and the communication. They play to a lot of flare screens. Flare screens are not the easiest thing to guard, and if you're not on your P's and Q's, and Lauri Markkanen is getting open three-point opportunities, we've seen him look like Klay Thompson in 2014 multiple times before. That's enough to make a game like this interesting for a Suns team that's still trying to find their identity and navigate the waters without Kevin Durant.
In the modern NBA, there's talent on every team that if they're hot and they just get going, you're going to have a hard time stopping them. Lauri's one of those guys. I think there are some numbers that are like, okay, you have to watch out for this too. They're second in the entire NBA in free throws attempted and third in makes. And Gerald pointed this out before the show. It's not just Lauri's getting to the line a bunch of times and he's carrying it like a Shea would for OKC. No, it's across the board. Everybody's a threat to get to the free throw line. They're top 10 in offensive and defensive rebounds. They're at 9th per game and rebounds per game. And they take a lot of threes. They're in the top half of the league in 3 points attempted. Bottom third in makes.
Percentage-wise.
Yeah, bottom third in makes, but top 13 in attempts, which if any team gets hot from 3, it can become a game. So there are little things that can chip away at what the talent discrepancy is. So you can never just walk in, especially nowadays, be like, oh, we're going to win. But if you play the way you should play, you should win.
Right.
And Lauri Markkanen historically loves playing the Suns for whatever reason. I think we're one of the teams where he averages more points per game against us than probably 28 or 27 other teams in the league. So for whatever reason, he always gets up a little bit when he faces the Suns. So that's another factor. We had a question in the chat, though. Who will be guarding him tonight?
Done, probably. Yeah.
But then that's it. I mean,
different type of matchup, but I'm looking forward to seeing
Bradley Beal and Devin Booker then are guarding up even more, though.
Yeah.
That's a tough matchup then.
It's very much a by committee thing.
Yeah.
Because they're naturally going to have to switch the flare screens and the high volume in the ways that they dress it up before they get into it. I just don't think it's going to be easy. I think they'll handle their business, but I just don't think it's going to come easily. This team does play hard. Like, they don't have the most talent. They don't play the sharpest, but they play hard, though, and that's something that can give you a chance every given night.
I want to see defensive focus in this matchup because, to Steven's point, with that motion offense, with the number of threes that they attempt, they're 25th in three-point percentage. They make like 32% of their threes. Are not a good shooting team to start the year. But if you give them open looks and let them get in a groove, we've seen this happen to the Suns and around the league. If a team gets comfortable, the complexion of the game totally changes. So they need to come locked in and continue to keep Lauri like below his, like he's off to a really slow start.
16 points per game.
Yeah. So don't let him go off. Don't let him get hot. Don't let this team feel good about themselves.
Will Hardy is, I'm not going to say he's an elite coach, but he has a way of getting the temperature of his team. And they're also good at identifying the team's weakness. So if the Suns are not sharp with their switching, you better believe they're not going to necessarily run things to go at switching, but they're going to be sharp in exploiting that in some capacity within their principles on offense. And then the other big thing for me, they get into a ton of switching on defense. Watch them switch everything against the San Antonio Spurs. And for as effective as the Chris Paul and Lauri Markkanen, Victor Wembanyama pick and roll is, the way that they were switching and they were able to switch after the initial switch on the perimeter in an organized manner, it sent their offense off script, and they were able to win that game by double digits in the end after being down by double digits. So the work is still cut out for them. Nothing's going to be handed to them. They got to go get it.
For sure. I mean, like Steven said, if you're in the NBA, you're good at basketball. Like, there's no question. It doesn't matter where you rank at any given night. Your team can get hot, and you can serve up a big fat L to another team, no matter how good they are. What was I going to ask you guys?
I don't know.
Now I don't remember. There was a concern that I had about something with tonight's game, and now I have no idea what it is. What are your expectations for Brad and Book in this one? Obviously, a lot of people are requesting more from both of them. Brad, we did see kind of get a little bit, he got fallen into in Sunday's game, but avoided the injury report list. What are you guys looking for from those two?
Yeah, I would like to see a higher scoring night from Devin Booker, and I feel like that comes with the caveat of acknowledging that over these last handful of games, he's been really good with the pass and with setting his teammates up. I think Steven is going to write something about that, or has written something about that kind of laying out how he's done a great job as a facilitator, even if the scoring hasn't been there. But it would be nice to see, especially with KD out, with all the concerns over playing through illness, his slow start, all this stuff. It would be nice to see him just come out and drop 30 or 40 points. And then Beal just keep doing what he was doing. He had a good game last game, I thought. And he's carrying a lot on the defensive end as well. So continue to do what he's been doing.
I think with the point with Book, obviously I want to see him score more points. For me, it's more about how he's going about scoring those. I felt like the last couple of games, and sure, you can attribute it to sickness, but I still think there's part of him that's getting into his old Devin Booker rhythm, and it felt like he was about a quarter second hesitant on a few shots and decisions in the last game against the Kings. I just want to be more decisive, and the points will come off of that. But for me, it's more about how are you going to get to the points, and I just want him to go out there and say, hey, I'm here. If it's passing, if it's shooting, I'm not waiting and reading. I'm going and I'm attacking, and I'm making a decision quick.
Yeah, to both of you two's point, 33 assists the last 3 games, only 5 turnovers.
Wow. He's
operating in the Tyus Jones, Chris Paul-esque hemisphere as a playmaker. That's what you want from one of your lead guards, especially for as often as he has the ball in his hands. Other big thing for me with him and Bradley Beal, since you asked about both, I want to see them both more used frequently in actions together. One of my favorite things going back to last season and especially this season with their spacing template is those two getting in the early offense pistol action where they're screening for each other and then either playing to post-ups or playing the flares from there. I think there's a lot they can get into on consistency just by keeping those two involved in primary actions together.
All right. Well, Eric, what are the guys going to be wearing in this one on that fancy court?
I'm about to say, beautiful NBA cup. You're going to get the white, the classics, the association editions for the Phoenix Suns. And then I don't hate these jerseys, but I do wish that if you were going to go a darker, non-colorful court, that maybe a splash of color.
I kind of like this.
Yellow to that.
It's all very gray tone.
Like a blackout
I
game.
hate these jerseys.
I don't think they're that bad.
They have nothing to do with Utah Jazz, like historically colors, anything. Like this is the most boring freaking brainstorm you could have possibly come up with. Why?
Well, because they sat down, they said, what represents Utah? And they thought
black.
Boring. Okay, well, I don't think they thought that.
Like black and yellow. They're not Pittsburgh.
I think just more boring was what I was going
it's
for.
It's
like that's
Dollar Tree Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Which is
it's
like,
terrible.
That's awful. No.
These look like custom made jerseys that it just comes with in a video game, like the default jerseys.
It kind of does, though.
They're
honestly,
awful.
You're not wrong.
Terrible stuff.
Okay, who you guys got tonight and by how much? Steven, why don't you tip us off?
I got the Suns by 5. I'm surprised I have them by the least. This is the first time all season, I believe. But for those reasons that I spoke to, the Jazz present some things that the Suns will have to work through. Curious to see how they handle their business tonight.
I got Suns by 8, and I feel like I'm being conservative with this. I think this is a bounce back game for them. I hope that it is. I think they're going to win by double digits, but I'm being cautious with 8 here.
Yeah, we don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat, Lindsay, with Suns by 7. You don't go, Suns by 20. But Espo, who's not here for the record, broke his streak of predicting the opposing team by 1 and predicted Suns by 15.
Okay.
So just so everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
We'll take it. Whatever works. All right. I don't think our friends at Bet365 are feeling as confident in the Suns in tonight with their line that they've got for this matchup. But I'll tell you in just a minute. The line is...
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. There it is. Not as confident in the Suns, right, Steven?
No, they're not as confident, but ironically, they got the exact same spread that I had for the game. They have the Suns favored at minus 5.5, and then their money line is minus 220. So for you all that choose to indulge in betting, I think this is a game where you should feel rather comfortable about your betting odds and, handle your business.
And I think this moved. Did it not? Earlier today, I feel like it was 2, right?
Was it?
I think it was a minus 2 for the Suns.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure it was minus 2 for the Suns, and it was like the money line was like minus 115 this morning as well.
It's the Drew Eubanks effect.
It must be.
Well, to that point, then, bettors out there, make your layups.
There you go. Make your layups. All right, it's time for us to tell you what we're putting our money on. Our pregame picks are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code PHNX365 when you sign up. Find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Eric, you start.
Well, I mentioned I was all in on Tyus Jones because he needs that money, considering he took a pay cut. So he's part of my 3-leg parlay at over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I've got Book to go over 5 assists. And then Markkanen, only averaging 16 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. But like you mentioned, Lindsay, he does like playing against the Suns. He once set his then career high in 3-pointers made and points against the Suns. I'm going 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists for plus 280. So a little bit higher than what I had last night, but I'm on a roll. I hit my bet last time. So
there you go.
Yeah, you got a whole
We're here.
$15.
Are we going streaking?
$13.50, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, huge.
He
We
pulled
going
a
streaking?
Lindsay win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, profit is profit. I ain't trying to hear nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
What you got, Steven?
Well, it's funny me saying that, and I'm minus $71. Anyways, I got Jordan Clarkson, a consistent 6th man of the year candidate at 15 or more points tonight. In addition to that, I think, how does this go since Nurkic isn't playing?
Oh, shoot. Your bet. We didn't
So
even
your bet will
notice.
get
Your bet got voided.
Well,
Okay.
that part will get voided. I believe
Okay.
Bet365 continues your parlay with just those 2 things together.
But your
so you'll
odds
have
obviously go
so you'll have to
down.
go through and
Absolutely.
look at different odds.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
And then the other big one, Bradley Beal, 5 assists. I think if him and Devin Booker are consistently featured in the same actions together, that's going to open up a lot of things for them. I think there'll be a lot of advantages for them to create outside of primary actions with the way that their defense loads up. So Bradley Beal for 5+ assists tonight.
All right, let's see what Espo is putting his money on in tonight's game. Espo, I think, copied me with the first quarter shenanigans for tonight. He's going Devin Booker
Under.
Sorry, rebounds in the first quarter, and that's set at 0.5. And then he's going under assists as well, and that's set at 1.5 in the first quarter. And then over on the points in the first quarter, that's set at 6.5.
I'm gonna laugh when he comes out and just breaks all 3 of
That's
them.
a weird
That's what
bet.
I was thinking
This
too.
is bizarre.
That's a weird bet.
Yeah.
That's a weird bet.
Like,
but
listen.
Yeah.
I went with the first quarter as well, just because I was like, let's just figure this out if I won or lost early on in the game. But I didn't go as crazy as Espo's. I'll show you what mine is here in just a second. It is the Suns' first quarter spread. It's a -1.5. So I just need the Suns to win the first quarter by 2 points for a whopping -105.
Can I just
see it
ask
right.
what your strategy was
I
when
don't
you,
really
when
have
you
one.
came up with that bet?
I just was looking around on the Bet365 app, and I was like, this one sounds good.
I can see it now. It's going to be
Let's
like
do this one.
Keontae George 3 to cut it to a 1-point game at the end. Like I could just see that.
Basically,
happening.
I was just trying to take something simple, and I was like, okay, I could do the money line, I could do the spread. Like I said earlier today, when I was picking my bets, the spread was at like 1.5 or 2. It was at 2.5. Okay. And then I saw this one at a -1.5. So I was like, let me just do the first quarter, make it a little bit easier. That's literally all that went
I'm
into
rooting
it.
for you to hit your -105 bet.
Shane likes it, and Shane's the best bettor here. Ain't that right, Shane?
It's a low bar to clear.
That's right.
I feel like
Whatever.
he's got more practice.
Yeah, he's the most better here.
Let's go ahead and look at that leaderboard, Eric, since you're talking such a big game.
I'm on a streak, baby.
When your win is literally a bet that I would take, a +135. Like, come on. You can't talk trash to me and then follow and copy what I do, bro.
Hey, she's about to increase her winnings by like
$9. $9.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Gerald.
You will never catch me on the show doing a minus odds bet.
Yeah.
I will promise that right now.
Says the guy who's -$55 right
she
now.
needs to stack years
This
if she's
is,
trying to make some money.
This is all part of the plan.
Espo's got $30. I have $2.19. Like I said, Eric's -55, and then Steven -81.
Look, they
67.
see mine up there. I don't need you to read it, okay?
I mean, listen. I just
see-
want to
you
make
see
sure
y'all
that
talking-
everyone
It's a big
knows.
number. They might not know how to count that.
You see how y'all was talking? I said nothing. I have nothing to add to this conversation.
And listen, that's why
I'll
I'm
holler
not
at
going to
y'all when
throw
I'm
too
back in the
much
green.
shade at you, Steven. But Eric can literally talk so much trash
Yeah.
about my bets, but then literally follow suit.
No.
Like, bro, last year
Lindsay.
you ripped me for all my bets,
Because
and
it's
now you're
every
throwing
bet.
out +135
every bet.
bets. And you have the audacity, sir.
You
You're taking a
walk
page
so I
out of
can
the
run.
book that I wrote. What are we doing here? Anyway, if you want to get in on the action and have crazy fun competitions with your friends too, Download the Bet365 app and use that code PHNX365 when you sign up. Disclaimer, you must be 21 or older and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. All right, final thoughts?
Just get a win, get it by double digits.
I love the comments that are coming in. I'm just going to read a few of them to say goodbye. Lucas said, get him, Chelsea. Jeff said, Lindsay lit everybody up, LMAO. And how do we pronounce this name?
Rishitiran.
Okay. Said, haha, cook him, Lindsay. Get stuffed, Eric.
We'll see.
Get stuffed.
I'm so glad I don't have to participate in the betting.
I know,
It's great.
right?
It's okay.
Thank you guys for joining us for the pregame show. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And be sure to meet us right back here after the game wraps up for the postgame show. Okay, bye.
We all silly like the mayor.